The fox's heartbeat climbed and the brushy hair of his tail lifted. The charred metal scent of the father's new clothing was burning in his throat. He leaped to the window and he scratched at it. Sometimes at home, his boy would raise a similar glass wall if he did this. He always felt better when the glass wall was lifted. Instead, the boy pulled him down onto his lap again and spoke to his father in a begging tone. The fox had learned the meaning of many human words, and he heard him use one of them now. No. Often, the no word was linked to one of the two names he knew, his own and the boy's. He listened carefully, but today it was just the word no, pleaded to his father over and over again. So the boy is saying to his dad, no, please, no, about something. Something's going to happen. The boy does not want it to happen. The car juddered to a full stop and tilted off to the right, a cloud of dust rising beyond the window. The father reached over the seat again, and after saying something to his son in a soft voice that didn't match his hard-lined scent, he grasped the fox by the scruff of his neck. His boy did not resist, so the fox did not resist. He hung limp and vulnerable in the man's grasp, although he was now frightened enough to nip. He would not displease his humans today. The father opened the car door and strode over gravel and patchy weeds to the edge of the wood. The boy got out and followed. The father set down the fox, and the fox bounded out of his reach. He locked his gaze on his two humans, surprised to notice that they were nearly the same height now. The boy had grown very tall recently. The father pointed to the woods, and the boy looked at his father for a long moment, his eyes streaming again. And then he dried his face with the neck of his t-shirt, and he nodded. He reached into his jean pocket and withdrew an old plastic soldier, the fox's favorite toy. The fox came to alert, ready for the familiar game. His boy would throw the toy, and he would track it down, a feat that the boy always seemed to find remarkable. He would retrieve the toy and wait with it in his mouth until the boy found him and took it back again to toss it. And sure enough, the boy held the toy soldier aloft and then hurled it into the woods. The fox's relief, they were only here to play a game. It made him careless. He streaked toward the woods without looking back at the humans. If he had, he would have seen the boy wrench away from his father and cross his arms over his face, and he would have returned. Whatever his boy needed, protection, distraction, affection, he would have offered it. Instead, he set off after the toy, finding it was slightly more difficult than usual, as there were so many other, fresher odors in the woods. But only slightly. After all, the scent of his boy was also on the toy. That scent he could find anywhere. The toy soldier lay face down at the burled root of a butternut tree, as if he had pitched it himself there in despair. His rifle, its butt pressed tirelessly against his face, was buried in the hilt of a leaf litter. The fox nudged the toy free, took it between his teeth, and rose on his haunches to allow the boy to find him. So he was up on his haunches, up on his back feet, kind of looking for his boy, saying, "Here I am." In the still woods, the only movements were bars of sunlight glinting like green glass through the leafy canopy. He stretched higher. There was no sign of his boy. A prickle of worry shivered up the fox's spine. He dropped the toy and barked. There was no response. He barked again and again, only answered by silence. If this was a new game, he did not like it. He picked up the toy soldier and began to retrace his trail. And as he looped out of the woods, a jay streaked above him, shrieking, and the fox froze, torn. The boy was waiting to play the game, but birds. Hours upon hours he had watched birds from his pen, quivering at the sight of them slicing in the sky as recklessly as lightning. He often saw them on summer evenings. The freedom of their flights always mesmerized him. The jay called again, deeper in the forest now, but answered by a chorus of reply. For one more moment, the fox hesitated, peering into the trees for another sight of the electric blue wedge, which was the bird. And then, behind him, he heard a car door slam shut, and then another. He bounded off at full speed. heedless of the briars that tore at his cheeks. The car's engine roared to life, and the fox skidded to a stop at the edge of the road. His boy rolled down his window and reached out his arms, and as the car sped away in a pelting spray of gravel, the father cried out the boy's name, Peter, and the boy cried out the only other name the fox knew, Pax. Oh boy, I'm wondering why they're at the edge of the woods. I'm wondering why they left without the fox. Obviously, this was why the boy was upset, but I still don't know why the boy has his suitcase. And I'm really curious as to if they're going to really leave the fox there. All right, so that was the end of chapter 1. I apologize for the noise from Caden. He is now all wet from the dog's dish that he just dumped the water out of while I was reading my chapter. So, not funny, Caden. Not funny. We will try better next time. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Go kisses. Mwah. Mwah. No kisses. Maybe next time. There's a kiss. Mwah. Bye, guys.